Before I begin, just wanted to take note that LSU and Maryland, the game in which I just watched with the first round of 32 game, ended up with LSU dominating, well, not dominating, but they had the game under control for the majority of it, to the point in which they defeated Maryland to become the first team to go to the Sweet 16. For starters, I want to say, C Boogie, instead of making videos, why were you not at that game in the Maryland locker room during the halftime, giving one of those Dom game pep talk speeches, man? Come on, man. I'm just fucking with you, dude. Yeah. In any case, the only reason why I'm saying that is because apparently the Maryland basketball team has stated themselves that they watch C Boogie stuff. And that goes to show you the kind of audience that we're reaching out to here in the Manosphere. The other reason why I pointed him out is because it's something that he has stated within the past few weeks about how if certain individuals want their image to be the image as considered masculine and sexy and select in the eyes of the women of the Communitah, then he has basically stated that why haven't you guys made any action in order to do so? Why haven't you guys overthrown the current kings of the Communitah? We all know those kings. The Pookies and Ray Rays, the bad boys, to a certain extent the jocks and the pretty boys. Why haven't these guys who are so nice, who are so good, who are such honorable men, just because they aren't Pookie and Ray Ray, just because they have stayed out of the criminal justice system, just because they didn't knock up any chick out of wedlock, why haven't these guys taken the actions that are needed in order to overthrow the current order of the Communitah, particularly the sexual market order of the Communitah? Well, we're going to answer that in a bit, but I also want to take a segment from the Prophet of Thoughts series, Brother Xavier, and I'll have his show linked below. Not just because I was on it, but because it was an interesting conversation in which two individuals also within this manosphere, I know one of the guys was Information Man, who I believe has a daughter, and somebody else who had a son, and they were talking about, well, in a patriarchal community, we could do what everybody else does and pair up each other, and my son can pair up with your daughter since we're both great dads, and your son's doing his thing, that sort of thing, which sounds nice. No, don't get me wrong. If that was done instead of the current order that's being done right now, if the patriarchy was able to control who got married to who or who dated who, then overall the black community would be in a better state, just by default. But I hate to disappoint you guys. I really do. And the disappointment of the day to the Communitah, to the ADOS guys, is that regime change will never occur at this point. And why is that? Well, sit back and relax and I'll tell you. As far as the Communitah itself, we all know the current ills, the current traps, the current bull crap that happens within the Communitah. I think we can all agree to that. So as far as the other issues that aren't pointed out, one of the reasons why regime change will never occur in the Communitah is that you have a lot of people within the Communitah, even those who aren't mediocre Negroes, even those with triple-digit IQs, even those who want better for their kids, if for no other reason. A lot of these individuals tend to be sympathizers of the worst of the Communitah, whether it comes to the Pookies and Ray Rays, the Shaniquas, the Scraggle Daggles, and their Bebe's kids, particularly those who you can tell are adamant and walking in their parents' footsteps. And a lot of people will say that we just need to reach out to the children, the young ones, and that sort of thing. And that is true to a degree. But you can tell the difference between those who want to be reached out to because they know their condition is crap and they want better, versus those who are just conforming to the stereotypes or conforming to what their society tells them to do. And quite frankly, no community has ever advanced while carrying even the average basic-minded individual. In the former corpse of the so-called black Communitah, a lot of people, even those who know better, a lot of them insist on not just taking the average people, but they insist on helping the worst of the worst. A lot of these individuals, the single mothers, the juvie, mediocre Negroes who just sit in the block all day, give everybody else who actually has a job hell, or at the very least an annoyance with, playing loud music, street dragging in residential neighborhoods, blasting loud mumble rap at 3 a.m. nonetheless. And they all tell us that these are the individuals who need help. These are the individuals who are victims of white supremacy. Shout out Kirigaki Jones. These are the individuals who need the ADOS goodies first, or the ADOS goodies only. These are the individuals who have been affected. No. These people will never learn. These people, even though I consider them knowledgeable, these people don't get it. They don't understand. Every other community does not do this, at least every other community that's successful. You have the white community, which is struggling on their own, but at the very least, they realize that with their trailer park trash, they separate them into certain areas, if not the sticks entirely. I live in an area that is super predominantly white, and I can tell you this, if you are a trailer trash piece of crap, you are likely destined to live in certain neighborhoods or just out in the countryside or wherever, where you can have your little pickup trucks and your country music and your MAG hat and your Donald Trump is God Emperor alt-right ideas. You can have that crap, but as long as you don't cause too much trouble, as long as you don't overdose on meth, you can come back for the holiday season, for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and maybe the 4th of July, maybe then. But successful communities, true successful communities, they cut their failures off from the knees. The Asians, the Indians, the ultimate Frisbee champions, those guys that everybody else, even the alt-riders and the sticks and the trailer park communities, the pro-white, pro-USA communities, those guys complain about the most? Yeah. They cut them off with no mercy. And at this point, if you want to save the Communitah and make it a community again, that is what needs to occur. As far as other people, and I see a lot of mediocre Negroes especially do this. You got mediocre Negroes who don't have the heart to be street, who don't have the wherewithal for it, and who definitely don't have the balls for it. But these individuals will mimic hood, Pookie and Ray Ray tendencies. The Scraggle-Daggle does this too. The middle class, corporate America Scraggle-Daggle does this too. And to be honest, it goes on both sides. You have the non-hood Negroes who want to live vicariously through their underclass hood counterparts. You see it every day. You see it by the way these mediocre Negroes talk, how they act, what they listen to, what they watch. Look, it's as simple as this. No other community embraces the worst kind of attitudes and mentalities and applies it to them, even if vicariously. Yeah, you could be an individual who is law-abiding and upstanding and has a job and takes care of you and yours. Okay, that's fine. But there are little tendencies that I see within even the middle-class black society that is quickly dying out. It is an endangered species if I've ever seen one. And the reason why it's an endangered species is because you all, besides the fact that you want to be Captain Save-A-Hose for the lower class, you guys pick up parts and pieces of the lower class society. You guys want to hold on to that lower class society, even if it's for a few hours on Friday and Saturday nights, even if it's in the backyard barbecuing. Look, this needs to stop. And I'm not here to tell you how to live your lives, but if you want regime change to occur, this has to stop. You can't say and point the finger at Pookie and Ray Ray about how they take my girl, though. They take Pookie and Ray Ray and slept with my wife. And I don't know why, man. Man, it's okay, man. It's okay. It happened to me too. Yeah, but you too? Oh, yeah, well, look, I don't know what I did except be a good mediocre Negro and be loyal to my own and proves that I was black enough by talking Ebonics, by using they instead of their and you instead of your, and I ain't using no apostrophes. Forget that. That's white boy speak. And I listen to Lil Jizz and Young Illuminati and 4 Pounds And all the other rappers, I was cruising along. I remember all the lyrics to the songs. And I was blasting in my BMW that I own. I don't even lease. I own it, man. So I'm a good black man, though. I ain't like Pookie and Ray Ray. But fuck Pookie and Ray Ray. Even though I got tickets to go to their concerts next week. Fuck that shit. Why should I? Why Pookie and Ray Ray get all the girls that I want, or run train all the girls that I can get? I don't care if I was a beta bucks, man. Look. Well, if you're complaining about Pookie and Ray Ray so much, why do you indulge in their culture? Why do you try to act like them? Why do you try to speak like them? Why do you cater to their music? Why do you even give an inch to their lifestyle? And it's the same when it comes to Scraggle Daggle. I mean, we can go into plenty of examples about how even though they may be middle or upper class, they still have the lower class tendencies. And yeah, you can probably imagine that. If you want change in the Communitah, if you want regime change, the last thing you want to do is play their music during your breaks. Idolize their kind of women on Instagram. Hang around their turf while you have no effective plan of an uprising whatsoever. And I don't mean an uprising in blood and sweat and tears and violence, no. But if you are to be taken serious when you say you want regime change, or you want a different kind of man to be that sexual alpha, you have to be the change. There's no two ways about this. There's no second option, third option, etc. You can't just dumb down yourself a little bit so you can appeal to the sisters and Scraggle Daggles and all this other kind of stuff. No. To the sisters and Scraggle Daggle's credit, if they're going to go after a Pookie and Ray Ray, then they're going to go after the real thing. They're going to go after the Pookie and Ray Ray who goes all the way Pookie and Ray Ray. Not this mediocre Negro who plays both sides of the fence and code switches. So he's a Pookie and Ray Ray when it's cool, and he's a square when he has to go to work, or he's in this middle class modest. No. You got to choose one or the other. And then you have to be principled and consistent on it. Now, another reason why regime change will never occur is because if you want to fight a revolution, non-violent, but if you want to fight a revolution, you're going to need allies. And to be honest, I would say since the 2000s really, ADOS blacks aren't really good when it comes to gaining allies. And a lot of the reason is because, for the most part, the ADOS black Communitah is deplorable. It's arrogant. They are self-segregating to the point in which you basically see everybody else against you, and then you try to justify it as a reason just to be obnoxious. I'm sorry. There are certain individuals, certain minorities who will state the same thing, but in reality they themselves are just as obnoxious as you, and they can't stand you because of their little racism. Yes, we have to take into account some individuals, some immigrant groups who do that, and that's the main reason why they come to the United States, because let's be honest, the genuine immigrant groups who are looking for a better life, they're going to Canada, they're going to Australia, they're going to New Zealand, they're going to Europe, or at the very least they're going to maybe China, maybe Brazil, maybe Russia. Come on. America? Really? Money? Yeah, oh, okay, yeah. Now it's the 80s and 90s. What's the reason you're coming here now? In any case, that doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of the ADOS blacks, the ADOS Negroes, are bad when it comes to making allies and keeping those, even who are technically ADOS by birth, on your side. Because apparently, from what I'm saying right now, first of all, the ADOS tag, I'm probably using that more than some of these ADOS Negroes out here. And second, let's be real. A lot of these ADOS Negroes will alienate anyone who does not, at the very least, have that poser hood culture in them, that poser Pookie and Ray Ray culture in them. Let's be real. You all on this channel have seen what happens when you don't fit into the stereotype or what it means to be ADOS. You have to have that swag. You have to have that flash. You have to have that
man, I don't care, man. Look, man, it's me against the world, man. Man, I'm gonna take the world and I'm gonna make them pay for something they didn't do, that I didn't experience. But they don't like me though. Nobody likes me. Asian immigrants don't like me. They're kissing white ass, and Mexican immigrants, they don't like me. They're calling me all sorts of marates. And now what? What we have here now? The African and Caribbean immigrants, they're getting pissed off at me too. What? Man, they ain't. Hashtag ADOS. We want our goodies. Our goodies are ours. I don't give a damn.
Look, as far as this is concerned, if you're going to make a movement to get some sort of economic gains, then you're going to need to trade with people outside the ADOS community eventually. Those dollars are going to have to flip in order for you to make some sort of profit. And with the attitudes I've seen in the past 20 or so years, when it comes to this ADOS black population, look, you're not gonna go far, especially in this globalized society. Now, your non-stereotypical blacks, American blacks, they'll be fine because they know, 1, how to play the game, 2, how to make allies, and 3, quite frankly, a lot of them will be pushed. And not just even pulled, but pushed to either the African immigrant class, which includes Caribbeans, or the biracial class. Look at my video, 3 Fates of America. You guys are sleeping on that. What's going on here? I know the guys who are propping it. Shout out to AM1 and Kirigaka Jones, but still, like, everyone else is like, well, black America is just going to continue in the way it is. That's just the way it is. It's just going to continue. Ain't nothing going to change. All right. Well, we'll see how much nothing changes within the next 20 to 30 years. Now, even BGS Zipmore stated that they are pushing for the race system mix, which, yeah, I halfway agree with that, but I would like to talk to him one-on-one whenever other fanboys aren't talking his ear off. But I like to talk to him one-on-one while I have my reservations on America's genuine reasons for that and America's genuine agenda. Because if honestly, if they were doing that, if America was really doing that, then God bless America. But in my opinion, they're half-assing it at best. Anyway, the main reason why regime change will never occur in the Communitah is this. This Communitah is, quite frankly, gynocentric. It's matriarchal. It's ran by the women. And the women have proven ever since, I would say, the 70s, that they want a certain kind of man to be that sexual alpha. Now, we know that these women need certain kind of men in order to be that beta bucks, in order to be that beta pays, after the alpha is done doing whatever. And as far as this is concerned, we have seen, especially in the recent years, on how women, and these aren't even young women, these are women in their 30s and 40s, Gen X women, Gen X scraggle-daggles, who have basically stated that they would rather let the Communitah burn than let what a lot of people will call the good black men, the classic black men, the thinking black man, the educated you-know-whats, control it. They would rather have the Communitah burn, than let good black men have any voice or any say on how it goes. And as far as that's concerned, this should be the main reason why a lot of people, a lot of you guys watching here, shouldn't even waste another breath on it. The Scraggle-Daggles have made their decision. They have said it that, heck, they've even said that the Pookies and Ray Rays don't even control it. They're just useful pawns. Yeah, they get a little ride and shine in it, but in the end, a lot of them get burnt out. And you even see former Pookies and Ray Rays here on YouTube calling out these Scraggle-Daggles after they get shown the light. After they get their you-know-what moment. And you-know-what moments only come at the behest of white people and other non-black people. Okay, whatever you want to say, Communitah. Anyway, as far as this is concerned, look. A lot of these mediocre Negroes, in the words of C. Boogie, they're finished. They are finished. This Negro is finished. And one of the main reasons, beyond the fact that they're imitating Pookies and Ray Rays and they sympathize with the worst of the Communitah, and because they push everyone who can help them away, you know, the thinking black men who can actually steer the Communitah in the opposite direction, you know. Besides that, it's because these individuals are gynocentric. These individuals are led by their mothers, by their aunties, cousins, sisters, and by vagina. They live to please vagina, and not just sexually neither. They live to please this female by any means. You see these mediocre Negroes on these Scraggle-Daggle hangouts being yes men and attack dogs. Why are they doing this? Are they getting any sort of compensation for it? Are they even getting any clout for it? At this point, a lot of these mediocre Negroes, they're eunuchs. They are walking eunuchs. I'm not going to put them in the cobot category per se because we want to keep definitions defined. But these guys are eunuchs, walking eunuchs, where they don't live for their fellow man. Damn shit, forget about that. They don't even live for themselves. They will throw themselves under the bus, under the jail, for whatever the Scraggle-Daggle says. And we've seen multiple examples of this. Obsidian's shown you multiple examples of this. Even interactions with other individuals within the Black Manosphere, they have shown you examples of this. And the fact of the matter is that most of these mediocre Negroes in the Communitah don't want to confront this gynocracy, this matriarchy, and the fear that they may not be invited to another barbecue. They may not be invited to whoever's birthday party. They may not be invited to the next party in general, or get together, or hold down, or hootenanny, whatever it is. They may reduce their sex supply. And yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, you have a lot of Pookies and Ray Rays and street Negroes who don't want change because, as some people have noted, that's going to mess up their SMV. I get that. I get why the real Pookies and Ray Rays don't want to screw that up because they don't have to do anything except slum it out. But the mediocre Negroes, the ones who aren't really in the streets, or at least not anymore, why are they doing it? Why are they feeling the need, the simp? This is the reason why regime change will never occur. It's not going to occur because the will isn't in the people of the Communitah. The will isn't in those who want to preserve it. They want to keep the status quo. They want to keep the soul food cookouts with all that heart attack inducing food and that cringy mumble rap music of the 21st century or that simp ass music of the 20th century. They want to keep that. They want to keep the Pookie and Ray Ray and Scraggle-Daggle music. Blasting that crap within their cars or within their nightclubs, you know, the Day-Days nightclubs, yeah, without the shootouts. They just, the only thing about it is, they don't mind that the Communitah resembles a third world country. As long as they're seen as the sexual select, they will be quiet. And if these daggles get smart and change their strategies and go after these mediocre Negroes who are whining the loudest about how, well, don't do it, they're psychotic though. They are psychotic and they're insane and they're crazy and they're, as far as this is concerned, the Communitah is done. Criplanta is lost. And a lot of these guys just need to face it. Because if you guys were going to change the regime, you would have done it by now. But nah, rather just either act like your Pookies and Ray Rays, join the winning team like you guys tried to do in the 70s, or be dancing monkeys like you did in the 80s, or really ramp it up and just do crimes to look like your Pookie and Ray Ray like in the 90s. Or simp, simp. That was the big one in the 90s. Or in the 2000s and 2010s, everything else didn't work, so you just went to the internet and then started bitching about these same women going after these sexually select Pookies and Ray Rays, but you guys still hold on to a bit of that Pookie and Ray Ray Communitah culture. And the reason why I'm gloating over you guys is because I'm one of those few individuals who saw this from the gate and realized that one, the Communitah isn't even worth saving, so I just got out the first chance I got. And two, even while I was in there, I had enough wherewithal to realize that if I wanted the sexual selection to change, the last thing that I need to do is to imitate those who I want to overthrow. Everyone else out there, always bet on X.